Let's go ahead and do some analysis today. Today is the 12th of the 2nd, 2025. So let's go ahead and do some analysis, some price action analysis. So as we can see here, we start on the higher time frames. Previous weekly has closed bearish. The current weekly has pushed up, forming all-time highs, and it has no bottom wick. So I'm assuming there is a potential for CPI to drive price down and create and form that bottom wick, and then potentially continue to the upside, or maybe continue to form a bottom wick and potentially close bearish for this week. So let's go ahead and pop that down on the notes there, that we are bearish. So the previous weekly candle has closed bearish. Sorry, bullish. Cool. We have to bear that in mind when a candle doesn't have a bottom wick. If you look at the previous weekly candles, they all have bottom wicks. So there is a potential for us to continue down to form that bottom wick, then to continue up. Or we could maybe get some sort of retracement in, because the previous daily has closed bearish. So the previous daily's closed bearish. And the 4-hour has also closed bearish. Let's see what the 2 hours done, as the 2-hour printed and closed bearish. Yes, it has, but you can see that the volume is dying down. You can see that the volume is dying down on gold at the moment. So let's go ahead, and you can see the current 2-hour has broke the high of the previous 2-hour. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. So we've basically moved down in an Asian session. We've moved down, and we see some sort of retracement and some sort of resistance formed for price to continue to the downside and come down into some sort of demand zone, which I'm looking at, which is down here, looking at some sort of demand zone down there. But I'll go ahead and mark that out for you and show you what I'm looking at. So if we're looking at the 2-hour, the 2-hour has closed bearish. So let's just note that down. 2 hours closed bearish, and the previous 1 hour has also closed bearish. If anyone's got any questions on the live, feel free to go ahead and ask any questions. 1 hour's bearish. The 30-minute did close bullish. 30-minute, let's have a look here. Okay, yeah, the 30-minute closed bullish. And let's see, let's just basically, I'm just going to wait for a high probability setup today and see if we can form something spicy. Okay, so the 30-minute has closed with a huge rejection wick. It looks like exhaustion on the 30-minute time frame. And let's see if price does continue to reject, or if we're actually going to break through this zone. Which is 28.85. I do have some zones that I will be looking at a decent reaction from. So we have actually closed above this most recent resistance right here. As you can see, we've closed the sells below this level. We'll be looking at sells on close below this level at 28.85. If we can maintain above 28.89 with this 30-minute candle closing, above, and then that will meet my criteria to look for some sort of buy entry. If anyone does have any questions on price action on gold, let me know. But yeah, that's what I'm currently looking at today. I am also looking at potential. Okay, so where is the daily candle? This is midnight open. Ideally, I would like to catch a sell above this price, above the midnight open. That would be the most ideal place for me to right here. So I'll go ahead and break it down. So I'm looking at 29.22, 29.23 to around 29.26. So it's about 30 pip zone. I'm potentially looking at sell positions at that area, this zone right here. I will be looking at buys at 20. Okay, so it looks like the 30-minute candle is currently flipping. It's currently flipping bullish. High impact news coming in later. So we should see a lot of volume in the markets. We should see a lot of volume in gold. But yeah, these are the levels that I will be looking at today. Sitting and waiting for something to show its hand. Buys are risky simply because the higher time frame is bearish. So I think it would be driving on. So let's just wait and see. But we are move up in the pre-London open session to continue moving down later on in the New York and get like some sort of continuation. So let's see if that can maintain the order flow to the really struggling to push up. We have got, and then we can see if we can get any decent confirmations. I go live every morning trading the London session. So if there is anyone who doesn't want to miss out on this kind of content, please do feel free and drop me a Evo. Do you help struggling traders with free signals? I am actually going to drop a Telegram group and a Discord. I'm not sure which one I'm going to really drop on, but I am going to start a free community where I will be giving my analysis out for free. And yeah, bro, I mean, I don't actually do signals because I just see like it to be very selfish for the person who sells the signals. Because I could give you a signal, for example, and you could make money and you could hit TP1. Somebody else could go into a little bit, the trade could go into a little bit of drawdown first, and then that another person could close the trade and cut it early because it's not their analysis. They don't have the confidence to hold through the drawdown. And then there could be the third person, for example, who could hold it till TP2 or TP3, for example. So I just think trading signals isn't necessarily the best thing for new traders and struggling traders to go through. And that's my honest advice. I think it's very selfish of people who do sell signals because they're just looking at the monetary gain that they could potentially make, but not the direct impact that it's going to have on the people who's taking the signals. So yeah, it has actually broke its own high and moved up, and it looks like it's filling the wick of the previous 30, which is great to see. I mean, it's great to see that, but it doesn't meet my checklist and my criteria. So I will have to wait for a setup. So I will be looking at buys potentially above, and I will be looking at buys above this area simply because there is the most clean price action of this level. So buys on close above. And this is what I'll be looking at. If you go down to the 30, you can see that that was the one for around 60 pips. So we've got a clean candle range to the left hand side, and it's 60 pips. So this is going to be the best range to trade. So I mean, trying to look for a trade from here to here is a 35 pip range, and you've got a lot of rejections. So I personally wouldn't consider that as a high probability area to look for. 2 hours, I think the 1 hour is actually going to close bullish here, but then you also would be going against the daily. So you're going against quite a lot of higher time frame candle closures. So what I would like to see, if that is the case, and we are going to continue up, I would like to see something structure, maybe some sort of rejection at that level of resistance, then a closure above, and then a potential continuation, a retest of this level, and then seeing price actually come up to this area. So as we can see, we are seeing price moving up and respecting this level. So every time when we closed above right here, you can see we've closed right at the zone right here. We did move up to this area right here. So I'm looking for price to mirror that to the left hand side and to mirror the zone at 29.05 after closing above 28.99. So 2,900. So you got a round number right there, 2,900. So yeah, this is where I'll be quite a few rejections at that level. So you can see you've got a rejection right here. You've got rejections here. Price did move through that level, but it did come to this price before actually moving up. So we've actually came down to take out these lows, and then we've moved up to find some more resistance up at this area right here. So we'll be going and having a look at this. Well, I then follow you when you do one. I will do also with risk management in mind. Yeah, Evo, risk management is one of the most key things to trading. It's so important and it's very underrated. I did an XRP sell trade now, but still waiting for a reversal. I'll go ahead and have a look at Evo. I'll go and have a look. Have fucking tongue twist. Go ahead and have a look at the XRP chart right now for you. Let me just mark these little zones up on gold, and let me just clean up all the arrows, take all. But yeah, let me just move this back to current price action. Yeah, so let me just mark out this resistance right here. XRP, Coinbase. Okay, let's go have a look at it on a higher time frame. Okay, so we're in a massive, massive range. So we're currently just ranging right now after moving down quite heavily. Where was it at? Where's the all-time highs? Okay, so it looks like price is actually just consolidating. A number of times. I was holding it again on the 12th of Feb. So you'd want to see some. Yeah, because if price can close below 20, so 2.3862, you could see price move down to 2.3370. This would be the next. and that's on the hourly chart. But this is a very, very choppy range to trade in. I don't like trading in these types of ranges, but if there is, clean candles to the left and there's a strong closure, it looks like the hourly has indeed closed bullish. It has closed bullish, and it's closed right at this area of resistance. And it looks like it's currently moving up a little bit without creating a top wick. I mean, a bottom wick. So I'm just going to stay patient here and wait to see if price can potentially see what's going to happen. So we can see that the previous 30 has actually traded within the range of the previous 30-minute bullish. Evo, keep me updated on how your XRP trade is going. Oh, Evo, yeah, I just said keep me updated on how your XRP trade is going. And yeah, just make sure that if you do go into drawdown, that you manage your risk, how much we're going to make, because we can't move the markets up or down. We can only participate on them moving up and down, but we can control how much we lose. So it's 7 a.m. It's Frankfurt open, and price has moved bullish from the support level at 28.85, and we've closed above 28.89. So currently just waiting for a decent confirmation for and moved up with a lot of volume. That 15-minute candle looks really big actually. Have a look and see how big it is. Okay. So it moved about 60 pips, but the body closure is 45 pips. It is going against you. Potentially look at areas where price will invalidate your sell. Yeah. Just look at areas where, okay, if it breaks a certain candle's high, then there's a lower probability make you can cut it early. I mean, one thing that I actually do agree with is, if you're unsure about a trade, just cut it. Cut the trade, because there will always be opportunities of getting back into that trade, when volume potential or when volume comes in. That will be a better time, because then you'd have a higher probability of the trade playing out. But if you're just gonna sit in the trade when it moves sideways, you might lose confidence in the trade, simply because there's no volume. Okay, so we are breaking the highs without forming any bottom wick on the current hourly and the current 30 and the current 15. So I'm literally just going to sit on my hands and I'm going to wait for a decent confirmation. Every day doesn't need to be a trading day. We don't need to trade every single day. The main objective is always to preserve the capital and to deploy the capital with A plus and A setups, and potentially taking some of the B setups with lower risk. So yeah, it is very important for a trader to define, what are your A plus setups, what are your B plus setups, what are your C setups, And majority of the time it's the C setups where you're going to be losing the most money. So I always recommend to potentially cutting out the C trades, totally just cutting it out, and only taking the A plus trades and the B trades. It's very far from the support line. Then I'm out for the day. Yeah, I mean that's a really good way to look at it. If you are, potentially gonna take a lead without it, especially around money, without it being, fear based or emotionally driven. So yeah, I mean, if you do take a loss, what I I'm gonna drop a gem right here that helped me um in the beginning of my journey, um when I was not profitable. I would basically, things to do when I take a loss is, do not enter another trade, because that's what I found I was doing. So I would lose a trade, and then I would potentially maybe enter a trade in the opposite direction, or I would, double my size and think, okay, it's hit my stop loss, but it's a better entry or a better price. But obviously, I quickly learned that, that wasn't the right way to do things. So step back for at least an hour candle. So basically, walk away from the charts at least for an hour, and come back to the charts, with a clear head. Take a walk outside, go and get some fresh air, and that's what I recommend. Because you can come back, with no emotional driven decisions. So you always ask why. So why did the trade not work? If it hit your stop loss, why did the trade go against you? What did you miss? Is there something that you potentially missed? Look into the left hand side, or potentially at with the higher time frame. What did you miss? And a lot of people, when they take these losses in trading, they say, "Oh, it's a scam. Trading's a scam, and it's this and it's that." But what they don't realize is that if they would have took the trade in the opposite direction, they would have made money. So, you need to look at how you could have potentially been in the trade, that that went in the opposite direction. So how could you have taken the opposite trade? So that's another thing that you can look at. And you should always be excited when you take a loss, because there's a huge opportunity for you to learn when you take a loss. And you can replicate the wins, especially if they're, part of your trading plan and your setups. You can always replicate them and potentially go over them, in the evening, and go over your trades and think, okay, how could you have looked back at those winning trades as well as the losing trades? So you look at the winning trades and think, okay, how could I have made more money on this trade? Because at the end of the day, we're here to make money. So, and on a losing trade, you'd look at it, from the opposite, from the flip side, and look at how you could have potentially lost less. So the conclusion, to sum up, things to do when you take a loss, is always look to see how you could have taken the opposite trade. And whenever you take a loss, ask why, you know, like what was the reason for, potentially losing that trade. So you can learn from that lesson. And when you see that pattern again, that you took a loss on, you think, okay, I took a loss on that, and out of 50 trades, there's a higher probability of me losing with this specific scenario. Then you can drop that out. And it's the best way for you to stay fluid in the markets, because you have to sort of be learning, um you know on this journey. Because if you're not learning, then you're just going to literally be like a dog chasing your tail. You're going to be chasing your tail, going around in circles, blowing accounts, over leveraging, over risking, over trading, and just in that spiral of that circle of doom. And you're not going to be able to escape it unless you change your habits. So if you always focus on the habits, and you always put you know, that first over the P&L and constantly like looking at the P&L based every day, then you will make progress that way. Because if you look at any business, for example, like I don't know, any like supermarket or they don't look at their profits on a day-to-day basis. I feel like it's only traders that do that, and I used to do that myself. So we have to have a bit more of a long-term perspective when we're looking at P&Ls and stuff like that. We shouldn't just go on a day-to-day basis, and if we take a loss, over leverage the next day, or over leverage the next minute or the next trade. So yeah, I hope you will learn something from that. That is my aim with very lonely journey. So if I can help anyone in any way, that would give me purpose. So yeah, I have sell high probability zones where I will be looking for sells to come up into this zone. I will be looking for a sell. And if we can potentially come down into this demand area, I will be monitoring price. I won't be executing long positions straight away off of this zone. But I do have a buy zone a bit lower. And stay tuned. I will be dropping a Discord link in my bio. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, the current 30 has actually come down to create a bottom wick, and it is re-breaking the previous candle's high. So it looks like price may continue up about just under 20 pips away from a resistance area. So yeah, if price can close below 28.85, that would mean that the current 4-hour candle would be flipping bedded within the range of the 4-hour candle before that. So give any clean price action. Nadeem, gold on a buy. Gold has been a very, very strong buy. For gold is looking like a buy. So it looks like price is actually struggling to continue to move up here. It's really like struggling to break that previous 15-minute high. 1 hour actually has closed below this most recent resistance. So yeah, if price can create a bit more of a steeper bottom wick, would like to see price coming down to potentially, 28.90 to continue to move up for now. But yeah, I think today's just one of those days where you just have to be patient, because sometimes the London session does range. It could be a huge range, but sometimes it does range until CPI later. So let's wait and see. Okay, let's see if it's actually going to break its own high here and continue to move up. And it is going to close in the next 40 side. So let's see if we can get some sort of volume by 8 a.m., 8:30. Okay, so the 30 has closed. And again, it looks like the volume just isn't there at the moment. So price has already filled the hole and formed support. Then I will be looking for buys. But for now, hands. Because I can't see any high probability setups. There we go. Price is finally moving down. Price is moving down. There we go. So let's see what price wants to do now. If it wants to create some sort of support to continue up, or are we going to move down? And then we are going downtown, mate. We have broke the previous 30-minute low, which is lovely to see. 15-minute. Has it? 5 minutes went quick. Buy area at around 28.88 looks good. We just have to see if price actually does want to hold support zones and create support to continue up. quarter to 8, or maybe quarter past 8. Sorry, quarter past 8, not quarter to 8. So we've got CPI today at 1:30. CPI today at 1:30. We also got Powell speaking at 3 p.m. So there's going to be a lot of volume in the NY session. If I don't trade the London session, or the coming back to trade the NY session. So there's nothing going on so far. I mean, I will more than likely be calling it a day right here, simply because it doesn't look like there's that much volume. So I will be setting my alerts and waiting for price to come to my levels. Once price gets there, I will be executing. But I'll see everyone tomorrow. I'll see everyone tomorrow for a live again. And yeah, just make sure that you stay away from trading the news. And yeah, just make sure you manage your risk today and stay safe out there. Los amigos.